Here's exactly where to find some over-the-counter tax deeds today that you can go, you can buy, you can flip, and make some money on. So this is, in my opinion, one of the biggest hacks to getting into real estate and actually finding investment property you can go and make good money off and really start to hedge yourself against all of the inflation and all of the volatility that's currently happening, in the stock market. Think how many people have woken up lately and, large percentages of their portfolio has been wiped out because of the stock market or crypto or circumstances beyond their control. So we're going to change that here for you today with over-the-counter tax deeds. So for those of you tuning in, an over-the-counter tax deed is a tax deed that either didn't sell at the tax sale for the back taxes, or B, maybe it sold and somebody didn't come and fulfill their payment and their obligation to buy the property. So fun fact, there are tens of thousands of these properties right now sitting in county inventories, just waiting for you to go and buy them, pick them up, flip them, make money, and continue that snowball. Back in the day, many of you guys might know my story. I was a miserable oil rig worker, and it was tax deed investing that kind of gave me the freedom life raft to get out of that job. And I'll never forget when I bought one of my first over-the-counter tax deed properties. It was only $50, which blew my mind. And back then, we couldn't do this stuff online. I had to literally fly over a couple states, rent a car, drive, go into the county office. And I couldn't believe it. They handed me all these papers, all these properties that were just available, ready to buy. All I had to do was pay the taxes and basically pick them up, and away we go. And these things were worth thousands and thousands of dollars. So for those of you guys tuning in, it's Dustin Hahn here. And this channel is dedicated to tax deed investing and creative ways for the average person to get into real estate who's maybe working maybe working your corporate job for a while. Maybe you have money in your IRA or 401k and it's just not doing anything for you. Tax liens and tax deeds are a great way to get your money working for you. So that's what we're going to talk about here today. We're going to dive into it, exactly where they are and how to get them. So if you have any interest in making money in real estate in unconventional ways, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you like this, and let's go ahead and let's dive into some action. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen here and I'm going to walk you guys through this pretty simple step by step. So here's my screen, boom, there we go. So on our site, Tax Lien School, we have a free resource called the Knowledge Vault. And what I'm going to show you on here is it's a nice interactive map that shows you tax lien and deed states. So if you're going to do over-the-counter deeds, first thing you need to do is figure out, am I living in a deed state or a lien state? Okay. The first step is to check your backyard. So anything in red that you see on my screen is a potential location for over-the-counter tax deeds. Okay, so anything in red here is an over-the-counter tax deed. Now, you can come to the website if you want, or you can just take a screenshot of the image on my screen here and get to work. So check this out. North Dakota is a tax deed state. They have lots of over-the-counter tax deeds. And one thing that I like about North Dakota is the fact that there are tons of small little areas that can have some inexpensive tax deeds for a few $1,000s that you can buy and flip. So one of my warnings is make sure you're not buying some piece of junk in the middle of nowhere, right? And there will be people in the comments, the cowboys in the comments being like, oh, there's a reason it didn't sell at the tax sale. And you know what? They're right. There is a reason sometimes that these properties didn't sell at the tax deed sale. However, if you put in a little bit of elbow grease, you will be able to go and find these. So check it out. We have Minnesota. So Minnesota is another great place. They're a tax deed county. They have plenty of options for you. So what I would do is start calling the counties in Minnesota and North Dakota and Michigan and find out, A, when is the tax sale, and ask them, you want to say this magic question. What happens to the properties that didn't sell at the tax deed sale? And they're either going to say, oh, we roll those over into the next one or the next auction, or they're going to say there are none, they all sold, or they'll say, oh, those go into our county inventory, they're here. So then you say, how do I get the list of those over-the-counter tax deeds? And they'll say, okay, well, go to this website, or they'll email you a list. Sometimes they might fax you a list as well. So when you're getting into tax deed investing, Remember this phrase, okay? Easy to find information equals a waste of time, money, and effort, okay? And one of the reasons I say that is because if it's easy to find, then literally everybody and their dog's going to show up with their camping gear and just start taking everything because it's easy, right? One of the cool things about tax deed investing and over-the-counter tax deeds is the fact that there are 1,500 tax deed counties out there, and every county does things a little bit different. And because there's no room for a middleman or woman to get in this business, and there's no multi-billion-dollar conglomerate built around the business, like for example, in traditional real estate, you got mortgage brokers, insurance, title companies, you have all sorts of people, realtors, all these billion-dollar corporations that are involved in taking their cut. However, with tax liens and deeds, the county works just directly. They can't bring in a third party. So the good thing is that a lot of this information is hard to find because it's specific to that county, and it's really not in the big conglomerate's best interest to go and maybe look at small town Minnesota's tax deeds. It's just not up there. However, for someone like you, who maybe you want to put in a bit of elbow grease, you can get into this game by rolling up your sleeves, making some phone calls, and taking some action. So anybody tuning in here, ask some questions in the comments. We'll be here for a little bit, and we shall continue this party here. If you like this stuff, do us a favor, thumbs up. And remember, if you ever do want some help with this stuff, we can literally take you by the hand, show you how to do it. So there's a link below in the description. You can book a free call, and we can show you how to do it, show you where a lot of our favorite spots are, and save you some trial and error. From here, though, back to the screen as far as where this is. If you're just tuning in, we are on the Tax Lien School site. We've put everything together here. And what we're working on right now is the most comprehensive free resource for tax lien and deed investors to get started. We're having thousands of articles created to help you get started. Our goal is to be the premier provider for tax lien and deed information, and we've achieved that on YouTube, which is awesome. But now we want to really be able to give back and help you get started. So coming back over here, we have Pennsylvania. All right. Pennsylvania is cool because they do sales often every month. Sometimes they'll do that through Bid for Assets. Now, when we're coming over to Washington often won't have many over-the-counter tax deeds. Their sales are in the fall, but part of the reason they won't have a lot is because it's a pretty hot areas. Now, that being said, if you're living in Washington or you're interested, it's always worth going ahead and doing some prospecting, okay? So we have Oregon. So Oregon can have some over-the-counter tax deeds. Places that are hybrid states like Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee, where they're having monthly auctions. One of the things that happens when there's a monthly auction is the fact that many times they won't have over-the-counter tax deeds. What they're going to do is just roll those tax deeds into the next auction. So you can go, you can look. However, Georgia will have something called basically like an in rem sale, where the properties that didn't sell will go to a different type of sale, and there will be, I think it's about a 30-day redemption here. So appreciate everybody hopping on to the show here today. We're looking at over-the-counter tax deeds. I'm sharing my screen, sharing the map here as we go back to it. So for anybody joining us, we went to the Tax Lien School site, clicked on the Knowledge Vault, and then ended up over here. So anything in red has the opportunity for over-the-counter tax deeds. So we have Alaska. You can call them up, see what counties there are. New Mexico, Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma. Arkansas is one of our favorite places as well. Their Arkansas State Land Commissioners have tons of over-the-counters available right now. We've done many videos showing over-the-counter in Arkansas, which is great. Now, check it out. So the other thing that we're going to be rolling out soon is an auction map. So for example, today, these are tax deeds happening today. So we're going to be building this into a wicked resource for people. But right now you can see some tax sales that are happening here this week if you want to just see what's going on. So for example, Fresno County is happening right now. If you click on this, you can get some information. The 27th starts at 8 a.m. This is still in development. It's beta. We haven't fully released it to the public. However, you can come here and enjoy the free map and tons of the free resources and articles and all that sort of stuff, which is totally awesome. So coming back to it, California does tax deed sales. However, they are becoming a bit of a hybrid state. And California has a redemption period as well that can be a year. However, if you use a company like Tax Title Services, they will be able to speed that up for you and help you really clear that title in a record time. So Toby, welcome. Appreciate the question and the comments here. Appreciate everybody showing up. Let's see, you're in Michigan. Any details you can give me about how liens and deeds work in Michigan? Actually, yeah, we can. So Michigan has a lot of great sales. And actually, Michigan is one of the only places, well, it's a great state because a lot of the counties there will allow you to actually buy tax liens and deeds with your credit card. So as we come over here, we have Michigan. It's obviously a tax deed state, which is awesome. So what I would do is, if you like, literally just starting super simple here, we'll start with like Michigan tax deed sales, okay. Can't spell, it's a problem of mine, but this site's pretty good. This taxsale.info for Michigan has lots of good sales, and you can see what things have sold for in the past. Let me make sure my screen is being shared here. Yes, it is, which is good news. So you can come, you can create a free login, you can browse properties. 74 counties here, and this place allows you to pay with credit cards. You can view upcoming auctions, which is totally cool. They probably want me to log in right now. Let's see, click here. Yeah, they'll want me to log in. It's not the end of the world. You can go and sign up and start to view some of the available properties and start to search around, right? So we come over here, come to the map, you can zoom in, see what's going on, and they do a good job on these maps. So for anybody here that wants some help with this stuff, there is a QR code on my screen right here. And if you scan this QR code, you can book a totally free call with us, and we'll take you by the hand and help you set up a custom game plan and show you what to do and what mistakes to avoid to get into this. There's a link below in the description as well. These things fill up. We just do a few of them per week. You can select the time. It is a free call, and we'll show you guys step by step, in depth, but more personalized for yourself on how to do it. So it's funny. Some people will be in the comments being like, oh, you guys are just doing the YouTube channel to sell stuff. And at the end of the day, we provide tons of free information, right? Like, it's the same thing. If you go online, there's recipes for all of your favorite foods that you can cook at home. Some people love to cook at home, right? They're experts in the kitchen. I am not a good cook. I would like to go to a restaurant and have somebody cook for me. That's just how I like to do it, because I know they're going to do a better job and they've dedicated to that expertise. So for you, it's kind of choose your own adventure, right? With the information that we provide here on the channel, by all means, you're super capable of going out. However, for some people who maybe want the recipe put together, that's where these calls come in handy, where you can book a call and we can take you by the hand and show you how to do it, customize for where you want to go, and teach you some steps to do it and avoid some mistakes that could come up. So that link is in the description. And for anybody who tunes in, I mention that in every video because, full transparency, anybody with a YouTube channel also has a business helping people do it. It just makes perfect sense. So that is, my transparency disclaimer here for everybody who gets upset when they see me say, hey, book a call or go here. I do my best to give everybody as much free information as possible. And, back in the day when I got started, I was, doing the oil field thing. And I took like a $5,000 seminar to learn tax liens and deeds. I maxed out my credit cards to take the seminar. And then I love snowmobiling, as you can see in this picture in the back there. And I did something that was very hard. I sold my precious snowmobile to get some money to go buy tax deeds. And sure enough, like 4 days after the seminar, I went down to Washington. I bought 4,200 acres, I bought 40 acres for $4,200, and it was worth 20 grand or worth 40 grand. I sold it for 20 and made over 15,000 bucks. And my life drastically changed since then. Obviously, I never went back to the oil field. I moved to California, and real estate is the tool to freedom, wealth, and creating that legacy for yourself. You look at, I think the stats are like 90% of most businesses fail. Real estate is proven It's black and white. If you know how to analyze deals, you're going to understand, okay, this is a good deal, this is a bad deal, right? There's a reason 90% of millionaires created their wealth in real estate. However, the biggest problem folks face today is you're watching content without taking action, right? It feels good to watch content. However, you're never going to get there through passive consumption. Passive consumption is, I always say, it's like reading a menu and expecting to get full. So if anything, take action from these videos, because, I've had to implement so many rules in my life to where I basically have to schedule. So I have one of these remarkable tablets, which is super useful. And I always write down exactly what I'm going to do today. Old school, you can use a pen and paper. It's not rocket appliances, just keep it simple. And for anybody here who's wanting a new way to get into real estate, over-the-counter tax deeds is one of the best ways to do it. So once again, I'm going to come back here and take a picture of this on my screen right now, right here. So anything in red is a tax deed state. So just pick up the phone, search the counties, and start calling and seeing if they have any tax deeds that didn't sell at the sale, and then go buy them. You can find apartment buildings, you can find houses, you can find all sorts of really amazing real estate at super great prices. Now, caveat, you will have to roll up your sleeves and do a little bit of work, okay? Let's see, can you tell us whether we should buy through an LLC to avoid liability? So once again, I'm not a lawyer or a doctor, and nor do I pretend to play one on the internet or on your favorite daytime television show. But I can tell you what I would do, and what I did is when I got started, I was doing it in my personal name. And then as I started to buy more property, I opened an LLC and transferred everything into that LLC. I see a lot of folks who kind of get paralyzed by this, and that's going to be kind of unique to your situation. But what I can say is that's how I navigated that when I got started. Aaron, question, which title company do you use for due diligence? So remember, Aaron, there's no one, the title is going to be specific to that county. So you'll want to find one in that area for that county. So there's no one specific, title company. We'll use sometimes the big ones closing deals like First American Title, or sometimes we'll use small local title companies as well. So it just all depends. So on that note, folks, we are keeping it super short here today. The biggest thing I want you to take away from this is go take action. Go do this stuff. Call your county right now. Call 5 counties today. That's your homework assignment. If you choose to accept this assignment here, call 5 counties. Ask them, hey, when's the tax deed auction? What happens to the properties that didn't sell at the auction? How do I get access to those? And then start doing some research. You will be off to the races, but this is one of the big messages I'm going to be hammering down is taking action and actually doing this. So from there, check out some of the other videos. If you want some one-on-one help with this stuff, like a custom game plan or to work with us, we've been in this 20 years. There's a link in the description. You can book a totally free call, or you can scan this QR code here and you can book a free call with us. Schedule it. You can learn some more about tax lien and deed investings. But the big benefit, if you book a call and we decide it's a fit to work together, is we take you by the hand, show you where to go. You say, hey, I have this much money. I'm in this area. I want to go here. We just, boom, just point you where to go. It's like going to the restaurant and getting the burger cooked as opposed to making it yourself. For those of you guys who want to make your own burger, there's tons of free videos here. But if you want to go to the restaurant, you can book a link or go in the description, book a call, and hit it. So on that note, thank you everybody for hopping on. Always a pleasure, and appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos. We will continue to do our best. I think there's like 3,000 videos on the channel now. And check it out. Aaron's saying bought his first tax deed. Great. But finding a buyer has been difficult. Just paid the title service to clear title. Yeah. So remember, Aaron, great work. You're in the game. That's awesome to hear. And do some research. Find people who've been buying cash in the area. Find other buyers who have bought at the tax deed auction. They're cash buyers. Post it on Facebook. Post it on Craigslist. Contact local real estate. You might have to put in some elbow grease on this, or you could even do some creative financing. So, for example, maybe you bought it for $5,000. You could sell it for $50,000. Take $10,000 down, and sorry, I just saw a comment. Take $10,000 and collect $500 per month. So Let's get started with that. And we're going to wrap this up here right now. So guys, if you like this stuff, once again, thumbs up, subscribe. There's a link in the description below where you can book a call if you want. And if not, we'll see you here on the next one. Thanks for tuning in.